Mr. Ondarchie.
Thank you, President. My adjournment matter is for the Premier, and it concerns the tragedy of the horrific terrorist attacks and bombings of Easter Day in Sri Lanka this year, where 253 people died, over 500 were injured. I recently visited Sri Lanka for 4 days, where on behalf of Victorians I expressed our condolences to the many people I met. I looked to support the economy and encourage tourism. I visited the sites, laid flowers on behalf of Victorians, spoke to the Sri Lankan Prime Minister, the Opposition Leader, the Speaker of the Parliament and MPs. I met on behalf of Victorians with key business leaders, the investment community, those directly affected, and the Red Cross headquarters in Sri Lanka. Peace is returning to Sri Lanka. I felt safe moving around Colombo. The tragedy has left some difficulties in Sri Lanka, particularly for children. Some have lost both parents, some have lost a parent, some have had parents that have been severely injured, and some are still critical. As a result, many of these young children are not being educated because simply there's no one to pay for it. Their books, no one to pay for their books or their needs. It's very sad. It's affected Sri Lankan students right across the globe. By way of example, in Queensland, I understand a full fee-paying student at a Queensland university has lost both her parents, and there's no money available to continue her education. That particular university has provided a scholarship to help her complete her final 2 years of her degree. Whilst this is a different level that I'm seeking from the Premier, is for the people of Victoria through the government to help these young children in Sri Lanka with their education. After the tragedy of the tsunami that hit Sri Lanka on the 26th of December 2004, where over 40,000 people died and 2.5 million Sri Lankans were displaced, Victorians were very generous through their government in providing significant funding grants to Sri Lanka to help the rebuild. I hope we can be generous again. The action I seek from the Premier of the Education State, is through the Victorian Government provide a substantial funding grant to Sri Lanka, perhaps administered by the Red Cross in Sri Lanka, to help fund the education of these small children. Please, Premier, for the sake of the kids. Thank you.